we're going to build this game, the color picker game, using JavaScript, right? So let's see the table of content. So we are going to have a target color. It will be mentioned at the top and will be the target that has to be picked from the remaining options, right? There will be a new color button to click it, and we will reset the game. Okay, then there will be, if we printed or if we pick the wrong choice, then there will be try again option, and if we pick the correct message, then we will get the correct message. Okay, and if you want new colors, we can click on new color, and once we start playing the game, then this new color will be changed to play again. Okay, so this is all the table of content that we are going to build. Now let's see how this game looks like. So this is the game that we are going to build. Okay, so there will be a name, that is color picker, then the RGB, then which color that we are picking, the new color sign, which will be, once we click on this, it will be changed to play again, and therein we have those messages, right? Correct message, try again message, all those messages will be on this stripe, that is white, right? Blue, white and black. The black is the body, okay, wherein we have these 6 squares, right? And in these we have different colors. Okay, right? So now let's see how it looks. Okay, so this is when we picked up the wrong choice. Okay, you will get this new color, try again. Okay, and that color which was earlier shown will be faded to black color. Okay, this is all that we are going to use, so this will be faded to black color. And if we picked up the right choice, then there will be a message, play again, with the correct sign, that is green, of the color of that text color of that correct sign is green. Okay, yes, it is very easy. Yes, so once we pick up the right color, then the color will be same for all the squares, right? And you might be thinking that this is not a square, but we have just rounded off the borders. I will show you how to do it, and then the same color will be given to the I mean to say the tag, the tag that is above it, in which we have the color pick. So yeah, it will be changed to this color. Now let's see the HTML code first. So in this game, we are going to deal with which ID should we use. So the ID you can choose of your choice. The ID that I am going to choose is Sublime. Okay, we are going to use Sublime Text. You can choose Visual Studio, right? You can choose Atom, anything you want. Okay. Now let's see the HTML code. In this game, we are going to use HTML. We are going to use CSS, and then finally we are going to make these changes, right? The verb of the page, right? The verb of the page, that is all the actions that we perform on this page with the help of JavaScript. Okay, now let's see the HTML code first. So again, the structure will be same, right? The skeleton of the HTML page that we have, right? When we press HTML tab on the Sublime, then we get the skeleton. So in the title, we will give the name of the title, that is color game, right? And then we link this file to our CSS. That is the CSS file. We'll link that to it. Then in the body, we have this heading, right? That you saw, the color picker, right? So the color picker will be there, okay? And after that, we'll just break it, right? We have written a break line, right? So that this target color that we are going to use. So you see, there is no target. This is the ID that we are going to use, right? You have an idea what an ID is. These selectors, right? ID selector, class selector, then a tag selector, right? We are going to use here an ID, which is a span, so that this doesn't come in the next line. So we are using, for that we are using break line above and below. Okay, all this thing comes in a single heading. Okay, with the help of break, we can just put a new line in between the color picker and the target color we have. Then we have this white stripe, right? That I was talking about, the stripe. In that we have new color, right? ID, and the new color text. The text will be there. It will be a button. Okay, so it will be a button. Then the message. So message you will not be able to see at the starting of the game, right? As I showed you. After you pick the right option or the wrong option, based on that, this message will be printed. So this will be a div. So there is a header, and then there is a div, the stripe, and then there is a class container. Why I have put a class for all these squares? Sir, can we execute this in Notepad? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So we have I have declared 6 divs, right, for 6 squares, right? And I'm putting all these squares in a container so that I can style them later. Okay, so the script, after that there's a script file that will be linked to it. Now let's see the demo of it. Okay, so here is my file. So let me just first pick it from the desktop. So this is my file, right, that we are going to build. Now let's go into a Sublime, right? Herein I have already created 3 files, right? The HTML file, the CSS file, and the script file. Okay, now let's remove these links first. Let's see how the page looks if we don't have any styling added to it. Okay, so this is how we comment in our HTML, and then hyphen, and then this has been commented. Okay, let me just maximize it. So there is no CSS to it. Now let's remove the HTML, the script file as well. right? Done. Let's save this file and now let's run this file. This is a web page without adding anything to it, right? This is only the HTML part, right? Now, this is the file that is without adding CSS to it and without adding what? JavaScript to it. This is our HTML file. This is how it looks. Now, if you can see this HTML file, there's nothing that I have done. The doc type HTML, then the title of the page, right? That thing that comes on the tab, right? You see here, the color game. That's the title due to the title. And then we have what? The color picker as a header, right? And then I told you that this target will be with the help of, we will be able to get this target color with the help of JavaScript. So that's why we were not able to see anything, right? The new color is there. You see that the new color was there, right? If you can see, okay, this new color button, right, is there, and rest will be when we apply CSS to it, you see how it changes, okay? And then these divs, you cannot see any changes because of these divs. Why? Because they don't contain anything. Neither they have any images, neither they have any, neither do they have any text in it. So that's why we're not able to see this thing right now. So because just it is an HTML file, so that's it. This is the HTML file that we're talking about. Okay, these divs, we will see how to change these, how to manipulate these with the help of JavaScript. Okay, now you got the point that this is only the HTML file. Now let's see. Now this HTML file look like this, right, guys? Then now let's talk about the CSS code. Okay, now you see the heading tag that we used. We will apply a color, that is the text color of that will be white. Okay, the background color will be steel blue, that is the blue color, right? And the text align will be aligned. The text align will be to the center. The weight will be normal. The text transform, that is the text transform that we are using. Okay, thanks Akash. So the text transform that we are going to use will be uppercase, so that everything that we wrote in this heading tag will be uppercase. So the color game will come in the uppercase, and then the padding just to beautify it. Okay. Then setting the background color to black and font to Arial. Now the body, whatever is written in the body will be set, the color will be set to black. So this octathorpe sign that we are using, sir, the CSS is used for changing only the background just to beautify it. Yes, how we use SVG elements in CSS. We will talk about them. We'll talk about them, Abhishek. Okay. So now the body, the background of that body, the background color of everything that is written in the body section, right? The body element, everything is that is written in that will be of color black. So this octathorpe 232323 can be replaced with black. Okay. There's nothing new to it. Okay. Then the margin, that is 0, and the font family is Arial. Okay. This is the body tag. These styles are added to the body tag. Now the target color, you won't be able to see it, but we are just increasing the font size, because once we will click on this thing, okay, the font size will increase. Now setting up the button background to white with bold text and some other styling. So the button, the styling that we do on the button is that border is none. Okay, we are not putting it. Sir, what is the stripe used for? You use and the source code. Okay, the stripe that is used for basically all the message that we get, right? So if you clicked on the correct color, then that message will come into that stripe. Once we will play this game, after that the text will change, right? Earlier we saw that there is new color. Once we will start playing, that text will change to play again, and retry options. All those options will be added in that stripe. Okay. So the text transform that you see here, okay, the text transform is to change the I mean to say, for example, I have written color game, right? So the color game, to change its to transform it to uppercase, right? So earlier you might be you might have written everything in the lowercase. So that will, what this text transform will do, even if you have written it in the lowercase, it will change it to uppercase. Okay. Now the text transform, again, the uppercase button, everything that is written in the button will be uppercase. Height, we set its height, we set its width. Okay. Yes, it's the property. Yes, Hash. Yes. So color is steel blue. Letter spacing between these words, the new color, there is a spacing that of 1 pixel that we have put. It will inherit this from the parent class, right? The parent div, that is it, that is within this stripe. The button is present in the stripe ID, right? So whatever is, I mean to say, whatever we apply to that stripe will be applied to the button as well. So transition. Now this transition, what is this? This is basically the transitions that happen. For example, if we click, so that click will change something, right? To transform that click while changing, right? If you clicked on something, so how quickly do you want to change this thing? Okay, this is a transition. How to change from one thing to another thing. Okay, cool. This is about button. Okay, now once we will hover it, once we will point our mouse to it, right? the color will be changed to white and the background will be changed to steel blue. Okay, why should we use this property? Which property, Kriti? So just to make things beautiful, it's all up to you guys. Even if you don't apply these things, then we saw how the page looks like, right? There was nothing to it. Now you see how the transition will take place. Now the square ID that we use, we will change the background color to red, width and margins will be set, float will be left, padding, border size, border radius. This is why the squares are looking something that is not looking like a square, right? The borders are trimmed. Okay, so this is with the help of border radius. Then again the transition, that how quickly does this transition happen? Because when we click on a square, right, when we click on the square, it goes to the background color, right? Whatever the background color is, it changes to that. So that transition, how quickly you want that transition to happen. Okay, this is all about this thing. The container, again we will apply some some CSS to it, margin 20 pixel, auto, max width, right? Then the stripe, the text align will be center, background color will be white, right? And the padding will be 0. Okay, this is all the styling that we are doing. The message, okay, the message. Text transformation. Yes, Kriti, the text transformation, I told you that how quickly you want that thing to absorb. Okay, so for example, when we click on any of these squares, that will be changed to the background color. So that change, how quickly should it happen? Okay, so this is only the text transformation that deals with this thing. Okay, so the message, that message class that we use, right? That font family should be Arial, text transformation should be upper, height, width, letter spacing should be 1 pixel, size, font size should inherit from the parent. I mean to say the div, that is the parent of that container, right? That stripe, and the transition, again the transition. Now when we applied CSS to this HTML, this is how it looks. Okay, earlier we saw how it looked, right? It didn't look very beautiful, right? So once we applied all these properties to this thing, right? So this is how it looks. So that's why what I was telling, the blue background of the header, the stripe color is the color of the stripe wherein we have new color. When we hover over it, you see how it changes. Okay, we will see in the demo part. The background is black, that octothorpe that we use 232323, right? That number, 6-digit number, right? With the octothorpe in it, or what you call as hash symbol, right? And the color of this. Okay, Aman, what are you trying to say? Aman, just tell me your question. I'm not ignoring your question, so you can just write it. Okay, so the color of these squares is red. Okay, now let's see how this thing looks when we apply CSS to it. We just remove the CSS part here, right? And now once we will uncomment these things, okay, now let's save this file. This is our CSS file. Everything that I told you, I applied that thing here. Okay, the h1 tag, right? The body tag we have hash, the classes, right? The IDs that we have here. Okay, then the button hover, when we hover over the button, what is the color that we want? The ID square, right? The class square that we have, the class container that we have. Okay, and the stripe, the message, all these things are present here, right guys? So you see the IDs here, right? The classes are here, the square classes and the container. What are the styles that we are applying are present in this file. Okay, now once we will save this file, okay, just a minute. So we're going back to this file. You saw this was the file that we used, right? You see, just applying CSS, that's it. We just applied CSS to this file and you see how it beautified, right? It's looking more beautiful, right? The background color is changed, right? So all these things, okay? So now when I click, you see how when I hover over this file, when I hover over this new color, you see how the color changed, the text color changed to white and the background changed to blue, okay? This is when we hover over it in JavaScript, right? Now you see, there are 6 squares, right? As you can see on your screen, there were 6 squares, right? Those are squares. We saw how border radius changed this, the border has been changed so that we have trimmed off the borders, okay? Now there are 6 squares. We have placed a variable. We are just in here. The first part that we are dealing right now with is that the HTML elements are fetched and we assign JS variables to it. That is, JavaScript variables have been assigned. That's it. Nothing new. Whatever we use, we just fetch them with the help of what? The HTML elements are fetched, right? And we are assigning them to a variables. Okay. Now we have declared array. This array will contain all the colors for all the squares. That is the color, right? The RGB colors will be present in this array. Okay. And we are just why top websites like Facebook and their source code CSS looks like gibberish. Why? So it looks like gibberish because Abhishek, maybe there are so many things to that, right? There is some JavaScript added, there is some CSS added, there is Bootstrap added to that, right? So that even if we don't add Bootstrap, right, then you see what we did, we wrote these many lines of code, but with Bootstrap, it makes much more sense. Okay, CSS is not supported by all the browsers. I would not agree with this. Not all the browsers, but yes, some of the browsers have some of the features that are not available in them. Like the if you see the when we set the background style background property, it doesn't the earlier one, the background style dot background that we used was not supported by what Mozilla, right? So then they changed this thing to style dot background, right? So that is supported by all the browsers, that is Google Chrome. So there is changes, right? There we need to change these things, right? There is no static thing that works in all the things, right? If you see the comment tag, you can use it Internet Explorer, but the comment tag cannot be used in the Google Chrome, right? We have to use those less than and greater than signs, right, Aman? Right? Hamid, right, Hamid? So there is some CSS properties, some HTML elements which are not supported by all the browsers. Yes, you need to check that. So we use this array to store the colors. Okay. Then whatever the color we picked, the target color from whatever we have picked, we need to check if that is the color that is written above and are those colors same. Okay. Then once the target color has been, now we are just using what we are just fetching with the help of document object model, we are just fetching the squares, right? By class name, all the classes have been fetched, right? The squares is the class that we fetched. Okay, now the ID that we fetched is target color, because target color until this point was empty, right? Now we change that target color. Okay, we will see how we change it. Now the variable message that we fetched, we will fetch the message also, right? Is this correct? Is this wrong? All this, there is nothing we are doing in this slide. We are just fetching all the elements from HTML with the help of DOM. Okay. Now the head tag is the head wherein we will have our colors, right? The color that you want to pick. Okay. Now the reset button, once we have played this game, we will see if we don't use this reset button, what happens. Okay. So this is all the fetching has been done. So whatever we used in our HTML page, we have just fetched them. Okay. That's it. That's it what we did here. It might look scary, but this is the only thing that we are doing here. We are just fetching the elements and that's it. And storing them in variables, right? These JavaScript variables. Now, calling the first statement will get the same, right? Now we are calling our function that is initialize, right? Init function. That then function, that in that function, what we will do, right? We will just first. Now, is this the algorithm? This are the algorithm. Okay, yes, this you can say that this is the algorithm for this game. Yes, you can say, but the CSS might change. You might not use any CSS, or you might include some other features in the CSS that might differ. But the moreover thing, that is, these functions will remain same. It's just how you do the things. You can I mean to say the moreover algorithm will remain same. Yes. Okay. Now we will generate the random colors. Okay, we will have this function generate random colors. Is the function that generates all the random numbers. How many random numbers? 6 random numbers, right? Right, the colors that we have in this, I will show you the demo part, right? These colors, this right now we have all the red, right? Now how to generate these random colors? For that we have created a function. Okay, this generate random function, and the argument that we are passing is 6, right? We saw here, you see the number of squares is 6, and we pass that thing to here. We will see how we will generate these random numbers. Okay, then now we have generated the random numbers. Now we want to pick the one that is present in the target, right? Bootstrap is nothing but a framework for CSS. CSS is, right? The framework for CSS is the Bootstrap, wherein we have all the codes available, right? We just have to cut and paste them. Okay, I'm saying normally we don't write JS HTML code in readable format, but Amazon, Facebook, websites, source code looks like gibberish with meaningless names. Why this happen? Not the meaningless names. I won't agree with that thing. The meaningless names are there. There might be some dependency on this code, right? If you see this generate random color, I'm using this long, right? This is a long name. So when your application is huge, right? Then you won't be using this much. There is a, I mean to say, there's a, no, it won't affect you that much, but they might put the name as what? GRC, right? Generate random color. This look like gibberish to you, but according to them, this name will make much more sense. Okay, Abhishek? Cool. So now we are generating these random colors, and then we picked up a color, right, from that array, so that we can then we can just visualize it. Is this color and the color that we picked, are these colors same? Okay. So then we update the color, the target color, and the text content will be changed to that color. Okay. Now let me show you first this thing, how it's done. We will just include the this that we commented, the script file. Okay. Uncomment this, and let's save this file, and now let's refresh it. Okay, now you see how many different colors are present here. Okay, Cool, Abhishek. So you see how there are 6 different colors. Now with the help of these generate random function, we are able to do this thing. We will see how to do it. Okay. Then once I clicked on this thing, you see I got there's a change in this new stripe, right? There is a new color and try again because the color is not correct. So you see it just faded to black. This stripe faded to black. Now let's click something which is correct. Okay. Now you see we got all the stripes changed to what? Green. Moreover to I mean to say darker version of green, right? And we got the message in the green saying correct message, right? And then this color got changed to the stripe. That is the header, right? That color also got changed. Okay. You see how these things happen. Then when I hover over it, it gave me an option of play again. When I clicked on play again, this is the reset button. This is the reset button I was talking about. This helps us to reset the this whole website again, like a refresh, right? So again, it got changed to the normal background color, that is steel color, right? Steel blue color, or you can say blue color. And then we got the play again option. That's it. No messages were deleted. And again, these 6 squares got a new color, right? Generate random colors for all the 6 squares. That function got called. Okay. Now we updated this thing. Okay. Now let's see how we will check if the color that is present in that header part and the color that we have picked, are they same or not? So once we have all the colors, right, then we traverse through them, right? We traverse through them. We call the event listener method. This add event listener is a method which will be executed when we click on something. This thing will be the function that is the, I mean to say the callback function that is written here will be called. Okay. So then we will check. You see, if picked, whatever is picked is equal to the dis.style.background. Okay. Okay, so if these colors are same, then the message or text content, the message that was ID, earlier it was empty, then we change the text content of that. This text content property helps us to change the content. Okay, it got changed to what? Correct, and then we added some color to it, that is green. That's it, right? When we press the right button, okay, when we click on the right square, okay, cool. Then the change color, then the color got changed, right? Then the change color again we pressed it. Let me show you in this, might not be visible. So I am just doing nothing. I am just explaining you this thing. Okay. Now you see this. Okay. Then if it's not right, okay, if the option that we choose was not correct, then the text content got changed, right? To what? Try again. Okay. The message or text content, try again. And then we gave it a warning sign like a color was changed to red. That's it. Okay. And then we changed this dot color dot background to what? Again black. You see how that fade thing happened? So fading that thing with the help of this 232323. We can also change it to black. That's it. Sir, then if we press the green button, then it will show the correct. No, that is not a button. Basically, I will show you. So Priya, you see now this is a, let me refresh it again. So this is the first thing that we get, right? Now when we press a wrong button, let's suppose we press this thing. Now you see this color got faded, right? That's what I meant by setting this color to black, right? If you see here, what I meant here, this thing. So you see this thing. If the color that is written above, the picked color and the color of the square didn't match, then what did I said? I said that we will change the content to try again, and we will change the color, I mean to say the color of that content try again will be red, and the background property is set again, the background color is changed to black. So this is the thing that we did, right? This is the try again message, which changes text to green to red, and this color got faded. That's it. Then we can't press this try again or new color. We can press a new color because, for example, let's suppose we don't want to play it. We want a new color. We can change that. But once we start playing it, then we got the wrong message, try again. We got the wrong, again, try again, right? Then blue, try again. Then this thing happened. Then this thing, it changed. It is the correct color. So we got the message as correct, Supriya. And then this header was also changed to the same color. Okay. Now this is this function that is doing this thing. Okay. To hide the square, we will just set the background color to black. That's it. We are just hiding it, right? So this is how we traverse it. Now let's talk about these functions, right? Reset, add event listener. So how do we want to reset this thing, right? We saw that with the help of new color, we just changed this thing, right? We just restarted our game. Okay, we'll see. Let's suppose if we don't have this reset button here. Okay, now let's suppose we don't have this reset, we don't want to use reset. We don't want. Okay, now let's save this file. So this function will never be called. Okay. Now let's see what happens here. You see, now let's refresh this thing. Okay, now this is the game. Now we press this. Okay, we got the correct. We got play again. You see, I'm not able to do anything. This play again won't work. You see why we need this reset function? Okay, now this play again won't work. Now anything will not work. This will be static. That's it. We are not able to play our game again. So that's why we need this reset function. Okay, let me just uncomment this. Okay, that's it. So reset. We will see what is the code that is written in this reset function. Okay, now to get a random color from the existing plate, right? We need that color, right? It will make sense. Listen to me carefully. So whatever are the colors present in that square, in those squares, right? We need one of the colors from them, right? We need one of the colors so that we can put that color in the header tag, right? So this is the thing, how we do it. So we just pick one of the indexes from that array that we built. Okay, what was the code for the reset? We will see, Abhishek, that is the last function that I'm going to show. Okay, so we picked one of the indexes from that array, which contains all the 6 colors. Okay, one of the indexes. You see, you know that mat.random gives us a random number from 0 to 1 with 1 not included in that. Okay, 1 is not included in that random number. Let me show you guys one thing quickly. So when I press this Control Shift I, okay, wait a minute, Control Shift I, okay, we got the console, right? Just a minute, guys. So we got this thing, right? The console, right? If we read mat dot random, okay, math is not defined. Okay, sorry. You see, every time when I call this function, I won't be getting anything greater than 1, right? 1 will not be also included. Okay, so we use this function. And then when I multiply this thing from any number, right, the number of choices you want, let's suppose you want a number from 1 to 6 or 1 to 10, right? So you just need to multiply this thing by that number, and that number will not be included. Okay, every time when I call this function, you see 4, you see 3, 1, then again 1, then again 9. We won't be getting any number greater than 10 without 10 including in it. So it will range from 0 to 9. Okay, now when I do this thing on this, okay, mat.floor, mat.floor. Okay, now I'll be getting the numbers because it will return, if I use only return mat.random will return a floating point number, but I don't want that. I want that, sir, are you using VS Code? No, I'm using Sublime and this is a browser. So okay, 1 minute. Okay. Am I missing any parenthesis? Yeah. I'm missing one parenthesis. This is extra. So you see, so now you see, I will be getting numbers only from 1 to 10 without 10 included. Okay, integer numbers. Yes, Kriti, Abhishek, integer numbers. So now let's go back to this thing. Where were we? We were okay here. So you see, now we are picking up the random color from what? The existing colors that is already present in the array, and I am multiplying this by array length so that we are getting the indexes from 0 to 5. We know that if an array is of 6 length, the number of indexes only will be present. How many? 6 indexes will be present from 0 to 5. So this thing was picked. I picked one of the index. Okay. Now this generate random color. Now you might be thinking, sir, now this thing is clear that we picked one from the existing. Now how would we create that existing random colors, right? This generate random color function will accept limit, that is 6. Here right in we have 6 limit, right? This is the function that we called, right, guys? So you see here where we called it. This generate random color is having an argument of number of squares, that is 6, right? Now we created an array, okay, this color array, and now what we are going to push. We know push. What happens with push? What is the push function that JavaScript use? Array, that the method that is present in the push. What does it do? It adds it adds a number. I mean to say, it adds to the last index, right? When we are adding in an array, it ends at the end, right? We know that. So every time we are adding to it at the end, but the limit is that we are going to add only 6 numbers. Okay. So this push will call this RGB generator. Now we will generate those random numbers. So RGB we are using, that is red, green, and blue. RGB. right? So now let's see how this, so every time we generate 6 numbers, right? Yeah, appending one by one. Yes, Abhishek, yes, inserting elements. Perfect. So once we got all the elements, then we return this array. Okay, that's it. Now let's see what how we generate these numbers. Again, we are going to use the same methods, right? Floor, random, and 256, because we know for R what will be the number range, that is from 0 to 255, right, guys? And for G, again it will range from 0 to 265, and for what? For green, and blue, right? Again, red, green, and blue, right? So again, it will range from 0 to what? 255. So multiplying it by 256 will result in those numbers, right? Any one of the numbers. Now you have to be very careful while returning this RGB. Okay? Why? Because there is a space required. You see, I have explicitly written this thing, right? There's a space between what? You have to keep that in mind. If you're getting any errors, please look at the RGB spacing. You have to explicitly use those spacing. Okay. Now, once we have generated this RGB numbers, right, and then we return this function. This will return this thing, and we will push it in the array. Right. RGB generator done. Now, for changing the colors, right, when we pressed correct, right, when we pressed the correct option, then the color got changed. Right. We saw that how the color got changed. So what is that we are using here? You see, when we press the right button, so you see we traverse through that array, through those elements, right? We traverse through all those, we traverse with the on the array, the color array, right? And we checked if the colors match, right? If the colors match, then go and change the background color, right? That's what happened. When we press the right button, the background color got changed for all the squares, and also for the header, right? So that's what we are doing here. We are changing the colors for all the elements of the squares, and we are changing the background color as well. In that reset function, we are again generating 6 new random numbers. The external style sheet that I just saw you, that was the second slide that I did, right? First we added the HTML, Supriya, then we added CSS, and that's it. There is no external style sheet. There are only one style sheet, that is one CSS file, one HTML file, and one JavaScript file. That's it. I'm not using any bootstrap, nothing. Okay, now the reset function. So I'm generating again new numbers. I'm picking one of them and storing it in picked, right, with the help of random picked index, right? Then the message content, I am just removing whatever the message was there, right? We saw earlier we don't have any message, right? So the message content is empty. I am changing the background color again to what? Steel blue, that is blue color, because at the starting when I refresh the game, the header of that thing will be blue, right? And again, then what I'm changing, I'm just setting the colors for all the squares. That's it. So let's see. Let's go back and let's see the function here. Okay. Now let's minimize this thing. You see, now haven't I reset this thing? You see, try again. New color. We got the color, same color. The same color was set for all the squares and the background and the header tag as well. Okay. So this is how we do it. Okay. So once we press the correct option, the correct message got printed, and then we pressed play again. We got the new game again. So again, you can play this game. So this is just a thing that you can add to your resume, showing that you know all the things. Your bases are covered, right? So you included HTML in it, you included some styling to it, right? You included JavaScript to it, and that's it. So you have completed your game, and this is the thing that I was trying to say. That this is the most simple game that one can think of, right? And you have used all the things, the event listeners, the arrays, the loops, right? The functions are used, right? This is all the functions that we have used, okay? Right? So the last function was the reset function, and this is the HTML page, including what? JS file, right? The HTML, CSS, and the JavaScript file was included in this, okay? It's done. That's it, guys. So quickly, just tell me if you have any confusions, right? If you have any confusions, you can tell me any function that you don't, right? You want me to repeat any function? Just quickly tell. So I will just minimize these functions. The init function, the reset function was called here. Herein we have the index picker, right? Herein we have index, one second. And then we have this change color function. Then we have reset function. So one function, two, and then we have the third function here. Yes, you will have the slide deck. In that slide deck, you just have to cut these slides in the same format that I have put. You just need to cut those, copy those things and put it in your HTML file and CML file, CSS file, and JavaScript file. That's it. I have given you the source code as well in the slide deck. Okay. So this is it. Okay, guys. Sir, what does this 1430 and 150 signifies? So this 1430 and this is the color. This is the color. Okay. Let me show you what I mean by this thing. So yeah, so this 242 is the RGB color format. So you can add a color with three things. Okay, to add a CSS, I mean to say, to add a color to something, you can add it. You have three ways to do it. Okay, the first way is you just write the color directly. That is black, blue, red. Right. The second thing is that you use the octathorpe or and the 6-digit number that I used, hash 232323. Okay, that is one another way to add a color. And then the third thing is that you can use this RGB. RGB has another variation, that is RGBA. That A represents the transparency. Okay, yeah, Abhishek, hex code, that octathorpe and the 6-digit. That is the hex code. And this is another thing, that is RGB, wherein we have what? The first will represent the red format, the second will represent the green, and then the black. I will show you. Let me just show you on Wikipedia how this works. Okay, RGB format. You see, this is red, green, and blue. You see how this thing changes. So if you want something yellowish, you use green and red. If you want something a pink type color, you can use this thing, white, right? Red and blue. Okay, okay, red, green, and blue. I was saying black, it's blue. Okay, guys. So it will range from 0 to 255. Okay. So it will range from 0 to 255. Yes, 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 blue, blue, blue. Yeah. So all these red, green, and blue will have a range from 0 to 255, 0 to 255, and 0 to 255. Okay, that's it.